Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free impartial advice on all your debt.
This is UMAR AHMED for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're back at this hotel, we're back at the Church House on Saturday night. Your man Chris Burke takes on Michael Rambolezza. How does this fight play out in your opinion, Martin?
Well, I'd like to, obviously as always, I'd like to see a good fight. We've prepared well for it and we'll see.
Do you think this is a real chance for Chris to announce himself and a bit of a breakout fight, if you like?
Oh, definitely. Look, again, we're normally always involved in good fights, our boys, and I believe this is another one of them fights. Rambolezza's much better than his record, as anyone who follows boxing would know, and Chris is well aware of that. I mean, I think he come over with one of our stablemates who we train, Larry Akandao, and Larry's class, and obviously he's well schooled as well.
Finally, this fight is on. Of course, it was scheduled for Hearn Bentley 2, I believe, on that undercard, but Michael unfortunately got COVID, but Frank and the team have got this back on, and you believe Chris will come out victorious and a good win for the Peacock Gym?
Well, let's hope so.
Martin, of course, I will ask you about last weekend. Firstly, how is Daniel?
Daniel's well. Obviously, he's very disappointed and he's on the road to recovery, but it's going to take some time, and we're going to have to see what the medical report finally says. We're still waiting on that, and then we'll go from there.
Is it still really swollen, the eye?
I spoke to his dad yesterday. Obviously, I haven't been round it because we've been training Chris and busy. I spoke to him yesterday. He said the eye was beginning to open, so all well and good. He's on the mend.
That's what I wanted to ask first. How is Daniel health-wise and his eye, etc.? Next, I think it's very important to address Joe, and his performance was a fantastic one, wasn't it, Martin?
Listen, I think Joe's... Listen, I wouldn't take nothing away from Joe, but again, I still think we was nicking it, and I think we was in front. So I think it showed that Daniel is at that level. I don't think that fight was beyond him in any way, shape or form. But the young man got injured, and that's the game.
At the point of the stoppage, do you mind me asking how you had it on the scorecards?
I think we was in front. I would probably say we was maybe 2, maybe 3 rounds up. And, the way it was shaping, as I said on the night, that was our last round anyway, so we was going to lose. But we had a shit or bust round.
That was my next question. So after that round, after the 10th, you was going to pull Daniel out? After
the 10th, he was coming out. I actually said to Ray, when I stepped down, I said, there's 3 rounds left in the fight and we've only got 1 round left in the eye. And unfortunately, that's how it was. It didn't play how I wanted it to. I thought we'd go out, give it a little go, and then we would have just cleaned him up and called it a day. But he didn't get to that point.
Martin, at what point and what round did you feel like the injury was getting really bad, or when did it occur?
I think after the 3rd, he obviously had the injury in about the 3rd, and I thought we cleared it in the 5th. And, obviously Daniel wasn't seeing as good as he should have, but listen, that's boxing, that's the game we're in.
What about the rounds before? How do you think Daniel was performing before the injury occurred?
I think we still won the rounds before?
His injury, yeah.
What, from the first to the...
From the first round, second round?
I think we won the first 3, probably might have shared the first. I think we've won the second and third from what I can remember. Look, if I put my hand on my heart, I haven't watched it back yet. I'm too gutted to.
Okay, that is fair enough. Obviously, he was taking a lot of jabs, etc. Do you believe a huge reason was because he had one eye practically in the fight, and normally he'd negate them jabs? You've seen him spar so many rounds in the gym. Well,
listen, that was one thing we worked on, killing his jab, and I just, we never on the night. What can I say? Fair play to Joe. Listen, wish him well.
Do you feel like Daniel had Joe hurt at any point in that fight?
No, I didn't really see any clear shots that Daniel hit Joe with either, but,
Regardless whether it was the injury or not, you believe that wasn't the Daniel Dubois that you know?
Well, from the 3rd round onwards, obviously, no. I mean, he was dealing with obviously a lot of pain and a problem, but he was still trying to solve it, and unfortunately, we never got the time to do that.
You said you're gutted, you haven't watched it back, etc. How is your frame of mind? Because since the fight, everyone in boxing, world boxing, is talking about how it ended, etc. Talking about Daniel. How are you, Martin?
Oh, listen. You just have to dust yourself off and start all over again. We had to be in the gym Monday morning training Chris for this fight, and that's our focus now. And Daniel would appreciate that.
A lot of people on the Sunday, straight after the fight, were labelling Daniel a quitter. The word quit was being thrown around. Since then, a lot of people have spoken positively about Daniel and said he made the right call. What have you made of that situation?
Listen, like everything, opinions, they're a bit like arseholes. Everyone's got one. And unfortunately, some people are a little bit too quick to spurt off. But, you know, you should always wait for the facts. Let's see the doctor's report, then we'll go from there.
Yeah,
But listen, everyone's got an opinion, but they're not actually in the sport or they're not doing it at that point in time. It's what it is. Listen, that's the sport. They're allowed opinions.
Spoke to your boy Denzel Bentley last night, who's in Ghana, and he made a very valid point, I think. He said, whether it was you, the referee, who stopped the fight, they're not being affected by what happens with Daniel's eye. Only one man gets affected for his life, his health, his earning capacity, and that's Daniel Dubois, who made this the final decision.
Well, I think that probably the pain made the decision for him. Listen, Daniel's a fighter. He would have probably, you know, like all fighters, would have liked to carry on and go out on his shield. But he didn't get the opportunity. The pain was obviously excruciating. So what do? You know what I mean? Like I say, that was his last round anyway. So, you know, in my heart, I'd already decided we'd lost. Even though I still think we was in front. Again, taking nothing away from Joe. Don't read into that wrong. Listen, good luck to Joe. We'll wish him well. Hope he goes on and wins a world title and does everything he's ever dreamed of.
Most important thing, I just spoke to Frank actually. He said there will be reports, they'll post them tomorrow, etc. See them reports. Hopefully Daniel gets on the mend and comes back well in 2021.
Yeah, please God.
Martin, listen, I appreciate you opening up a little bit on the fight and taking the time out. Thanks to IFL TV. Best of luck with Chris, and hopefully for your gym and your sake, he does the business on Saturday night.
I would just like to say thanks to all the well wishers that wish Daniel well, and it's much appreciated. You know, you've got Anthony Gogo, Anthony Joshua, all talking. And listen, they're sportsmen, they know. They've been on the wrong end of it as well. And unfortunately, in boxing, what goes around comes around. So, you know, you have to be careful sometimes of what you say.
Are you referring to something that Eddie Hearn said?
Listen, I'm just saying, just be careful what you say sometimes, because what goes around comes around, and it does come back and bite you on the arse.
Okay. Well, listen, Kell Brook, David A. also sent messages of support that a lot of people in boxing have. So, as you said, well done to them for doing that. Martin, thanks for talking to IFL TV. We'll catch up soon, all right? Thank you.
Perfect. Listen, boxing's a small world, you know.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free impartial advice on all your debt.